So, welcome everybody to session 0.5B of Chronicles of Calaxia. Hooray! Um,
Yay.
once again, the BBEG of the campaign continues to be scheduling conflicts, but, that's okay. Nevertheless, we endure. So, on everyone's owlbear should see a little world map with a little "You Are Here" sign pointing at the one town that's marked on the map.
Cool.
Can you all see that?
Yes, indeedy.
Okay. This is Galric. For those who don't remember or maybe would like a refresher, Galric is a little bit like um, a magical version of Renaissance Venice. Not necessarily because it's on canals, but because it's controlled by aristocrats, rich people, merchants. They have the power. It's one of the most populated cities in the world of Calaxia. There are a sort of a nominally uh, independent republic. Um, they are led by a uh, a leader who goes by Mari, uh, who runs sort of the more conventional shipping. Um,
Does he have an
that
advisor named Vachiamelli?
uh, no,
He should.
it you can try to get in with them, but
Sure.
they are aside from the mages who control the instantaneous travel of goods across the world via magic. Um, this is one of the most wealthy and powerful people on the planet, so getting an audience is probably pretty unlikely, but you never know. So Galric has a lot of ports. It's one of the biggest places where stuff comes in and out before hopping on to the roads that go in and out of town. Um, to the south of Galric, there are some islands, mostly inhabited by the bunny people. Uh, sure, tell me a little bit about the bunny people.
So the bunny people, I would imagine, are operate like matriarchal family clans, essentially. As you can imagine, there tend to be big families, with lots of folks, and I imagine that the bunny people would not be a very warfaring community, and typically most of their work focuses on trading and mercantilism. There's a bit of like some branches or some different clans focus more on like traveling and running trade routes and stuff, but I imagine that like the bulk of the power center of the communities is going to be central to the big island, um, where the clan leaders, get together and discuss issues facing the community, discuss the economies and whatnot. Um, yeah, I think they're generally peaceful folk and welcoming and whatnot. Also, due to their small stature, is part of why they're not gonna be big on the warfaring and stuff. So I imagine they're gonna have some kind of system in place for like security and whatnot. I would imagine that they have like a numbers game essentially for security, but they might also employ bigger folk as like guards for um trade crafts and stuff. I don't imagine they're gonna grok a lot with the like magical instant trading stuff very much. I don't think they're necessarily a super magically focused people, although I imagine there would be individuals or family groups that dabble more in magic and stuff, but they're going to be much more down to the earth, just like living their lives, doing their family thing, doing some trading, and keeping to themselves.
Excellent. Yeah. So, um, I think we had talked about this previously. You are what was your character's name?
Ferryn. Ferryn Longstrider.
Ferryn Longstrider. And you are a trader of some kind?
Yeah, merchant. Ferryn's from a family that I think Ferryn's family is probably more of an outlying family that does a bit more far out trading, but Ferryn themselves is also a kind of a weird one who's got a bit of an independent streak and likes to keep to, likes their alone time, which is hard to get in a big family clan environment. So Ferryn travels out themselves like further than most little bunny folk would go on their own. But yeah, I imagine that their family is a merchant family of some kind. I haven't really figured out what their focus or specialization would be at this point. But yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So it would be reasonable to say that that some trade and sort of moving around to do some of the family business, and some of that, beyond necessarily your home trade, would be the kind of thing that might bring you to Galric, given that it's one of the largest ports in the world, and most populated, affluent. Okay.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a kid striking out on their own for the first time is like, well, if I can make it in the big city, you know what I mean? Of like, probably has no idea what they're getting into, but like, it's like, well, everything happens in Garrick, so that seems like as good a place as any to start.
Okay. And Farron, how do you and Danu know each other? Do you already know each other?
I don't.
We do.
Yeah, Ferrin has met Danny, or is going to meet Danny at the beginning. I'm not sure where it's going to slot in the timeline.
Because we're already in Galric,
Oh, that's true.
as a
Okay.
collective group. Um, we've been traveling together because we talked about this before.
Yeah. Okay.
We've been traveling together for a while already. We've already met. It was hilarious circumstances, and Danu is currently hanging out with Farron in very discreetly,
Discreet
um,
mode.
whilst
Yeah.
in the city.
I think what happened is that Farron, had some family contacts in the city, but was like while trying to like get it settled and was hearing about potential untapped markets, heard about like some northern tribes that were kind of mysterious, and was like, well, I like the countryside. What if I could like set up a new trade thing, like get a trade agreement with these northern tribes, and was traveling north to kind of just make introductions and try to make a contact when they bumped into Danu for the first time. And then
Which was when Farron was making camp, trying to find the Kulain people, and Danu, in shifted wolf form, saw Bunny and immediately was like, "Oh, food," because they
dinner.
tend to hunt usually in mixtured hunting packs of um, wolf form, people in wolf form, because the Kulain people can shift, and some as like human hunters, a mixture of the two of them usually. But Danu was off on her own at the time, saw Farron, long ears, saw Bunny at night, and went, Bunny! And then was slowly crawling up to kind of just like pounce, and Farron noticed and went, Whoa!
Stood up with my longbow and was like, "Who goes there?"
And
Danu was
Danu being
like,
like, What the hell?
talking dinner."
Okay, and then like shifted into normal form and was like, Hi.
And so then they got to talking about, um,
What
what was
happened?
going on, what happened with Danu's people, and then decided to turn back around and go down south to Garrick again.
Okay. Awesome. And okay, so you guys uh, are on the beautiful city streets. Franz, what brings you to Galric?
Believe that I had heard of an obscure text in the forbidden area of knowledge and was desperately hoping to acquire that.
Mm.
And largely, I tend to look down on Garrick because I think that not Florence is more classier town. Whatever we're calling not Florence.
It doesn't have a
No,
name.
Florent.
And when you come up with it, we will know what not Florence is called.
Florencia?
Sure. Take it back.
There's not really a equivalent of Florence in this particular part of the world, because there's not really an Italy per se. This is a lot more like Crusader Kings level. A lot of smaller dukedoms, duchies, petty kingdoms, as opposed to nations or empires. The lands of Calaxia.
I didn't say Rome.
Yeah, the lands of Calaxia have sort of been this way for a few generations. Every so often, it seems that one nation or another appears and tries to rise up to threaten the status quo, and usually what happens is everyone else sort of kind of bands together enough to smack them down, and then sort of goes back to minding their radishes, as it were. So everybody, especially Bunny with all the Ys, thank you, sure.
That was actually me.
Oh boy, do I even have a wisdom stat?
Bunny.
Oh no, it won't let me remove it.
Wisdom is cunning.
Undo.
Sorry, I got distracted by
There we go. Sorry.
the bunny gif in the session 0 notes. Are we making a check?
So,
Silk set him up for failure because he didn't give me a meme channel. So just that's his own fault.
That's true.
I mean,
Kaiser
actually, there is a memes and tomfoolery.
Oh, Tom. Oh, you're right. Oh, and it's age restricted. Oh my.
Hang on.
Really?
It's under gameplay.
I see it now. I had to expand that.
There you go. There's a thread that you can put all your memes into. So, anyway, this particular part of town is, yes, thank you, Trish. I God damn it! I need to stop looking up. I need to stop looking at that screen. So.
We had the same thought.
So, y'all are kind of in the northern part of town, a little bit away from sort of the docks, which are kind of to the south and to the east. This part of town is kind of interesting. Everyone, just give me a 2 purple perception, and let's see what folks notice.
2 purple perception.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Watch how this is done.
Perception. Right. Yes.
Oh, can I do it inside of the sessions RPG?
Yep.
Oh, it linked.
There we go.
Freaking beautiful, right there.
Wait, you can do this in Owlbear?
No,
No,
I'm
you can
doing
just
it
do it
on the sessions RPG tool.
Okay.
Like I clicked the number of dice for the difficulty, and then I dropped down to the.
Yeah, you can actually just choose. You can actually choose your stat, and it will also.
Yes, fill it in.
Yeah.
I got 5 successes, 2 threats.
Okay.
I got 1 success, 3 advantage.
So, Ferryn, you kind of notice that there's some that this part of town seems to have a lot of like symbols and stuff on the wood of the buildings. Um, the buildings are also kind of a little tilted or slanted. You're not totally sure why, but it seems sort of like think of instead of like looking at a square, you're looking more like a parallelogram or a rhombus, where it's just a little like where it's not quite 90 degrees, you know. Um, uh, Danny, you recognize you recognize the symbols on the wood. Uh, these buildings look like they're sort of made out of giant playing cards. Whether they're, but this the suits are a little bit different than we would sort of think of them. There's swords, there's staves, there's cups, and there is well, there's diamonds because diamonds are fancy. But
and the buildings seem to be made of these?
Yep. It appears that instead of planks, these buildings are made of magic enchanted playing cards of some kind. Franz, what did you get on the roll?
Oh, that show in Discord?
Not yet.
No. 2 upward signs, which means what?
2 advantage?
I didn't realize
that's
I was
the
muted.
advantage sign.
Upon seeing that these were magic playing cards, Danu would turn towards Ferryn and go, "Woof,"
Woof.
because she is a wolf right now.
Ferryn
you don't.
absentmindedly scratches behind Danu's ear while looking kind of confused and concerned around their strange surroundings.
Yeah.
Ferryn
These
forgets that Danu is a whole ass person sometimes when she's been in wolf form for a while. It just kind of hits her head.
and these things all look sturdy and stuff. It's just sort of like a weird. It's almost like if you had seen logs with a pattern. You get sort of the impression this is sort of like almost like a wood grain type thing, but it's very interesting.
Cool.
So in any event, Franz is here. You were told to meet. You sort of were told that there's a woman that deals in, let's say, harder to find items, maybe illegal things, but if there's something that you need, she may be able to help you locate it.
Okay.
And then Ferryn, you and Danny, you were sort of out enjoying the stroll, and there's actually a very delicious smelling barbecue pit, sort of right in the general vicinity of this building. That's basically like a barbecue pit. So around there, there's just some people sort of gathering. This guy here looks like he's sort of like an employee. There's a couple folks sort of hanging around the well, and otherwise there's just sort of a few random passers-by. What's everyone up to?
I guess. Oh, I was gonna say, do we have the name of the person that we're trying to find at this point?
The person that Franz is trying to find, I think, is coincidentally named Tila.
Ah.
Tila. Tila with a T or a D?
T.
T, thank you. Right.
She looks vaguely like the GM just reused the Tila token from
Totes.
Trouble in Tian.
Totes.
But yeah, so she's sort of she seems to be reading some sort of scroll. So
At
y'all
a
have
barbecue event?
well, she's
Nerds
she
have social lives, Kaifer.
well, it's also a public place where you can
It
sort
seems
of
like a
be
great
told.
way to ruin a scroll.
It's gonna smell like
Covered in sauce.
Nothing
Sticky
worse than getting
fingerprints.
barbecue sauce on your scrolls.
Air
ruin
spill.
your runes.
Okay, anyway, yeah.
So
she's
our
reading a
so
scroll
so,
at a
so,
barbecue event. There we go.
so our bunny and wolf are gonna head towards the barbecue.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
thinking.
definitely.
Yeah, like the smells are delicious, and B, it sounds like there's people over there that might know who we need to talk to. So yeah, Ferryn's gonna start moseying over there, and Ferryn's maybe still a little shy being in the big city. It's a lot different than his previous mercantile experience, so he's gonna come to, excuse me, sirs.
Okay.
There's a
So
big ass wolf behind him, but he's this timid little rabbit.
oh god, you are I'm forgetting the kid's name and Manda. There was a Star Wars campaign I was in where there was a guy who basically played the bunny that's like how I'm imagining you, and then was accompanied by a Gundark that ripped people apart, and it was awesome.
This is the ultimate, combo is tiny squishy and big strong. They are the dynamic duo forever.
I do appreciate the good dynamic duo. Okay, so go ahead and move yourselves sort of in the general vicinity of where you want to be. We got Franz over here. Are you sort of gonna head up? You knew to sort of be in the general vicinity of this kind of barbecue place to meet your contact.
Okay. I go over to a tent or table or whatever, and I pick up and again, this is literally me just throwing around some odd knowledge, but I order up a bowl of Hassenpfeffer and then go and sit down at the table that ironically my contact is at, not knowing that a bunny person is going to also be dining with us. You can look up what Hassenpfeffer is.
It's rabbit, isn't it?
It's rabbit stew. It's rabbit stew.
Ooh, rabbit stew's so good though.
It's gonna cost you a destiny point if you want that to exist.
We're at a barbecue event in Italy. It's not a huge stretch, but fine. Destiny point it is. I want the awkwardness. Give me my awkwardness.
Kaifer thrives on it.
Like,
Perfect.
awkward is like what this character's all about. It's like, oh
Okay.
god, it's just like him looking at you and then looking at his stew. And
Like rabbit in his mouth, like, oh.
It's like, oh no.
Okay. So yeah, the guy kind of gives you a weird look, and he starts kind of casting a spell. But he sort of nods.
On the soup? Well, stew, technically. But
yeah, he is casting a spell. And so as our bunny and wolf friends approach, the two guys that were sort of just milling about look y'all over, and the first guy, who again, these are just reused random person NPCs. One of them kind of looks at Ferryn and goes, "Hey, you're one of them little ones, ain't you? Do ya?"
Really am. Ear flicks happily.
Oh, that's adorable. I got kind of a question, and then like the other one kind of gives him a look like, "Oh, you're about to say something racist, aren't you?" But he doesn't stop his friend, and he kind of looks at you like hopefully.
What? Yeah, sure. Shoot.
Well, so I was always wondering, um, you know, if you like scratch you know, what one of the rabbitkin on like the on like the belly, do you guys also get like the full foot thumping? Because it's so gosh darn cute when I see the little foot thump.
Um,
And the other guy just like smacks his head, like just face palms hard enough. He's taking damage. He's just like, oh.
it's tricky for a rabbit to blush under all of the fur, but Ferryn visibly blushes. Says, well, sir, I hate to disappoint, but that's kind of a personal matter between folks who are in love, if you know what I mean. It's not really something we talk about. It's not really a thing we just do. That's kind of private, actually.
Danu's just sitting there in dog form or like wolf form and just has like a slow, like inquisitive head tilt towards you.
Yeah, the one who face palmed is like, look, I apologize for
Roll
my
damage
brother.
for cringe.
I he took 2 strain.
Yes.
He's like, look, I apologize for my brother Jimbo. He's a dumbass, but he don't mean nothing by it. So I'm sorry.
That's
You
all
know,
right. I know that we're not super common around these parts, and get a little
well,
curious. I understand.
he's also been out here hitting the peace pipe, and he points to like a piece of what looks like some kind of drug paraphernalia.
Oh, yeah. No, this is a super normal conversation. Um, we were actually. I had a question, if you don't mind.
The one that asked you like about the thumping is looks mortified and like super embarrassed, so he's like quiet, and the other one's
He
like,
just
oh
basically like yeah, asked something super personal and was like, "Sorry, my friend's on drugs."
yeah.
It's like I don't really know how to respond. Um,
The other one's like, anyway, and he switches places, so like this guy just kind of like steps forward, and he kind of like shoves Jimbo back here.
Jimbo falls in the alley, struggling to recover from strain damage.
Yeah, he's cringed. He's like, how can I help you?
I'm looking for someone named Tila. Is she? Are they? Or do they work around here?
He's like, ah, you must be looking to deal in some stuff. Yep. She likes to make her spot over by, and he kind of like looks over and notices that our new friend Franz seems to be over there. It's like right over at that table.
Just over there talking and partaking of some stew.
Some
Quietly
very not
partaking of stew.
awkward stew.
Yeah.
It's very not awkward at all, stew.
As he sort of mentions that, the guy running the little stand has dropped off some stew and walked back.
Yeah, Farron's gonna bow his little head, bob, and his ears do like a whole flip flop when he like does his bow, and it's extremely fucking cute. And he said, "Thank you very much, sirs. I hope you have a good day."
Oh, you too. Stay safe, little fella.
Thanks, I will. And he turns to Danu and says, "This way, hun." And a wolf that is almost taller than the tips of Farron's ears trundles out of the alleyway. And
Yeah, it's like when the one that was on drugs notices Danu. He visibly like gets a little sweaty. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, Danu just kind of like looks and like in as much as a wolf can squint.
What skill was that? Roll me a coercion.
Coercion.
Danu?
Yep, Danu coercion. It's 2 purple, but you get 2 boosts for being a wolf and this guy already being embarrassed.
Oh, there it is. Sorry, 2 purple.
Mm-hmm.
2 purple,
And you
2
get
blue.
and you add 2 blue because this guy
1
fucked up.
success, 2 advantages.
Okay. So he looks terrified, and in his haste to sort of get away from the wolf that he thinks may lunge at him, he trips over a conveniently placed bucket, Three Stooges style.
What was in the
And
bucket?
Fish heads.
There you go. Better than shit.
I was gonna say it was dirty water of some kind.
Oh yeah, there you go. Split the uprights between fish and shit.
Yeah. So he panics and runs off. And he's like, oh shit. So he
Goes
disappeared.
home and does some reading on bunny folk culture to be less racist in the future.
Danu just happily just goes back to Ferryn's side, just tail lightly wagging. He's in
So-
the bench.
Yeah, the other, like, the nice guy just kind of gives Danu like a happy, like, yeah, fuck him, he was being kind of an asshole, like, look, like an appreciative, like, that was funny, like, kind of one of those, like, yeah, all right. And then he sort of like picks up, he grabs like a glass and resumes drinking, and he's just kind of hanging out.
By the way, I am unable to grab my own token, and every time I try to, I usually just accidentally grab the bunny, Ferryn.
Oh.
Oh, that's weird that it won't let you grab your token.
Yeah, not sure
Oh,
why.
that's also really cool bunny art. I just zoomed in and looked at it. It looks really cool.
The grab distance is like I'm on top of the house right now where I'm grabbing.
That's because I can move your token, but
Your token comes up as silk. That may be why. It's alternating between silk and you.
Yeah, I think it's whoever clicked on it last or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
But
weird.
yeah, the grab distance is it won't let me at all. It just moves the map if I try and grab my own token. Or it just straight up moves Ferryn, so.
Are you in Chrome or Firefox?
Chrome.
Try Firefox. This I'm just saying, like,
crumbles.
it seems to be optimized for that because, like, they specifically said in the notes of, like, oh, our audio thing doesn't work in Chrome at all. Okay. It seems like they seem to have built it for Opera, or no, Safari and Firefox is what it said.
Grumble, grumble.
I'm a Chrome whore, so this is not me, looking down. It's just a matter of, like, oh, I realized this application seems to be not optimized for my typical browser either.
Are you able to move a token now?
I need to check. And also pause my own music now. There we go. Let's see. Yes, I can.
That looks so much like my old Siberian Husky chaser. Oh my gosh, it's so close. But she had the black stripe down her back and silver on the sides too.
It looks weirdly like my cousin's dog Sitka.
Oh.
That's a good bumper.
This is a good.
Okay, so
This too as the bunny rolls
So-
over.
yeah, so while this has been going on, Franz, you pull up at this table, and this woman kind of just looks at you and goes, "Hello," like she's sort of like not sure why you chose her to be kind of at the table with her when there's another one with a little more space.
Were we already mid conversation, or was I just kind of like standing there eating?
I was going to say this is happening while the bunny and wolf were messing with the drug addled guy who made insensitive comments. So there a little time has passed between you ordering and and that whole thing. So
And before we turn the
Okay, well
corner.
then, ideally, I'd just be kind of standing there with my bowl and trying to make inept attempts at an unawkward introduction, and just kind of, it's like,
she
believe that this is our, meeting, and
she kind okay. So roll me a charm
oh
against
god.
against against 3 purple. Let's see what kind of impression you make. And
Better
you
not
get
be good.
and you get and you get a setback because well, she saw what you ordered, and she
And she
is a
knows who her other contact is.
yeah.
She's like, "Well, that's gonna be awkward for you."
Again, it's like, depending on their personality, they could be like, oh, this is gonna be good. Man, where is my charm? I don't see that anywhere. Oh, okay. 2 green. Okay. 1 sec. Sorry, I have to do this in the Discord thing, so I have to type it all in.
Oh, see,
Dice.
it's charm.
Not rice roll, dice roll. Thank you.
There you go.
So you already put in the difficulty?
Oh no! So the
I,
like
I rolled it through the RPG sessions.
you like click the difficulty dice that you're going up against, and then you can.
And you and your character, and there's a character drop down where you can choose
Right,
what
right.
skill it is,
My
and
character sheet doesn't exist in RPG sessions, so I can't do any of the stuff that
Oh,
you're
there's a
talking about.
Franz Bombada character there.
Seriously?
In
yeah,
the characters list, but I couldn't like futz around with the Ferryn character that was originally put in there until I like went into it, and then I copied it, and then it was in my my
yeah.
files character inventory. So I just like edited the name, and now it's in the game, and I can mess with that one.
Huh.
If that makes sense.
That makes a little bit of sense. Took, if you could just like DM me whatever the Franz Bombada character sheet that you made in that is. Okay. Either way, 2 failures makes total sense.
Okay,
That is on par and in character.
yeah. So she's like, she goes, okay. Well, I appreciate that you were referred to me, but I gotta say, um, I normally work with professionals, or at least people who have better sense. And she says this as the guy sort of walks up and sets down the bowl. And around the corner, you notice some other folks approaching. So this didn't take super long, but it took long enough that you are now all sort of gathering at the same table, if you would like to be.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Danu is just there and is sitting beside, just sniffing a bunch.
Um,
Dog, dog, dog.
Dog, dog, dog.
yeah. So Tila notices the pup and goes, "Hi, Danny," and smiles and throws you a fat piece of meat.
And very happily starts munching.
Yep. You have met before. I don't know what the backstory is, but you're definitely acquainted enough, at least enough that she's like, oh, okay, I know who you are. And she goes, oh, she looks at Farron and goes, I don't know you. Uh,
um,
Probably don't look at his food, and sort of like gives Franz the stink eye.
um, Farron had like just bobbed into a little bow and like once it gets mentioned, he like lifts his like little snoot in the air and like does a few little sniffs and catches a whiff of the stew and oh yeah, no, that's okay.
Danu kind of breaks from eating the food, looks over, and just puts a puts a paw on Ferryn, being like shaking her
Baron
head
looks
slowly.
like he had a whole speech prepared in his brain of like exactly what he was gonna say to, and then it's completely evaporated, and he's just kind of standing awkwardly now, like, oh, okay, hello.
Yeah, Franz has largely just been kind of frozen in abject horror of like, oh god, no, oh no. Just that is just written very clearly all over his face. It's like he just can't really articulate anything because he's a socially awkward academic. It's just like he looks like the part of a professor, but the problem is that like he doesn't have the money to be the professor he wants to be. So it's just like he is very much exuding all of that of like wanting to dress like the role he wants, but very clearly not able to.
Oh,
So he's Ken Jeong from Community.
I almost would say worse than Ken Jeong, but yes, very very much so. Yeah.
Okay, something in that neighborhood at least. Okay.
That's very much the vibe we're going for.
Okay.
But Ken Jeong has way more personality in that show than well, charisma. There we go. Charisma, not personality. Charisma. Than Franz probably is exuding. He is just awkward AF. That is our current wizard academic.
Well,
So a lot of
tense and awkward for
Mr.
everyone.
Bean-esque kind of mumbling, fumbling, kind of looking at you, looking at the stew, looking at you, looking at the stew, and just kind of waiting for literally anything else to happen.
And Danu's just gonna pleasantly sit there and munch on the meat.
It's just the sounds of awkward mumbling and a dog like messily eating some some meat on the
And if it
ground.
goes long enough, he's just gonna chuck the bowl over his shoulder. He's probably gonna like go through a window or something. Like he's just gonna blindly chuck it.
Just
Like, if you want to burn a destiny point, it's like you're gonna crash a window and a woman go ah.
I'm absolutely doing that.
Yeah, that's worth the point for sure.
Okay. So, in his panic, Franz flips this bowl over his shoulder, and it clatters against a window, which pops open, and a very familiar, oddly familiar, let's say, voice comes through. You adventuring assholes need to stop throwing shit at my window! Goddamn assholes! Okay, it's like I gotta teach at the Broad College, and assholes are throwing balls of shit at my window. God damn it! I gotta go out there, I'm gonna beat someone's ass. And you don't even have to roll. You know that she will come out there and beat your ass.
Which I immediately looked at Teal, like, shall we take our business elsewhere? And just tried to be as cordial and gentlemanly, just like, the mask has gone back on.
And Teal's like, look, Tiffany, it's fine. And she's like, goddamn right, it's fine. You gotta put this guy in order. And closes it, and like you see the curtains get drawn very aggressively. And she's and Teal's like, yeah, again, your the rates for my assistants just keep going up because you can't fucking manage a simple thing. Now, what was it that I was helping you with? Are you guys part of a package deal? I hope not, because she looks at Ferryn. She's like, you seem like a perfectly nice person, and she looks back at Franz. This asshole.
Sheila decided she did not like Franz today.
Well,
Baron's gonna try to smooth out the situation a little bit. He's gonna bluster and be like, I don't really know what's going on. I haven't met this guy. I'm sure he's very nice. Despite his, dietary choices. It's a lot of people do that. I understand it's a thing. I've heard of it. Um I sort of forgot why I came here for a little bit in the panic, but I'll remember in a second. Just give me one moment. And he's gonna like turn around and awkwardly nervously tug on one of his ears to like calm himself down.
The self-soothing by ear tug. I love it.
Yeah.
That's good flavor.
At that point, Danu's just gonna kind of look, kind of slight eye roll a little bit.
Oh right, I remember. We're on a mission, and he's gonna turn around again and be like, we need to contract with somebody for relief supplies, and we heard that you might be able to help us out.
She nods. She's like, oh yeah, yeah. She's like, normally it's not really the kind of thing I do. I deal with rarer goods, but times being what they are, and tax. It's like I was offered my tax burden to assist with the relief effort that I know you're here about. So yeah, she's like I can help you out in a second. She's like, and she looks back at Franz. She's like, and you came up here to me. What are you here for?
Well, I'm here for the text that we originally discussed via correspondence, of course.
She kind of looks. She's like, look, I get a lot of a lot of flying paper. You're gonna need to be more specific. What? It's like, is there
a particular text that is not best to be spoken of in cross company or even dark alleys. It would be best researched in closed company.
She kind of like cocks an eyebrow. She's like, look, I don't care what kind of smut you're looking for. I just need money. What kind of smut was I supposed to source for you? There's a lot of people that want a lot of smut.
Cronenberg monstrosity number 7.
She's like, number 7.
I need that one. Yeah.
Hmm. She kind of looks back and forth between you guys for a second. Everyone, give me a 3 purple vigilance. I just want to see if y'all notice something.
Is this perception?
Vigilance.
Oh,
vigilance. Thank you. Thank you.
Oops.
Sorry, was that 3 purple?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, where's my...
The part of a person you see is played by this placeholder, or don't see.
Oh, I'm selecting the wrong Ferryn. That's why.
0 successes, 2 threats, 1 triumph.
Okay.
Yeah, I cannot get the dice thing to work. Like, it comes up, I'm selecting it, but...
Did you try copying your character and adding it to your profile? Because you have to add a character yourself onto the table in order to roll as that character.
View. Okay, and then when you add, is that under edit?
Yes. Well, so if you click on Franz's name and bring him up and you click the little link, it'll open it up in a new tab and there will be a green button that says clone. And it'll ask you to clone the character sheet, and then the cloned copy of the character sheet will then be in your profile as one of your characters. And then you'll be able to make further edits on the sheet, and you can also add that character onto the table back in the Chronicles Calaxia page.
Okay, so I've got the clone.
Okay.
and you kind of faded out, so I didn't hear the
Oh,
last
okay.
little bit.
So then I believe once you have the clone, you should be able to go back to the Chronicles of Calaxia page,
Yes.
and there'll be a spot at the top on the left that says add a character, and there's a little drop down.
Add a character. This is in Discord?
No, this is all in the RPG sessions.
Is it under dice?
Nope, should be
See,
under
edit.
library.
Library.
Yeah, it should be under my library.
Okay.
And then if you go to the games tab inside of RPG sessions, and the Chronicles of Calaxia game will be there, and you can click the games table and then add a character from your. Because before I couldn't add a character, I didn't have any in my like profile inventory essentially in my library. And once I added the cloned character sheet to my library, then I could add that onto the game.
Okay, so I see Franz Bombata. I guess this is the one that Silk made?
Probably, yeah.
So if I hit the 2 green and the 3 purples. Oh god, I totally botched that. That went crazy. Clear. How do I clear?
Click on it again to clear it. Is it giving you an option to roll the dice?
Not really.
Okay, so
Which
then
is
that's
confusing.
not your character then. Because the only one that like I can roll the dice on is
Pass
the Ferryn that I added.
dice kick.
Yeah, so click on Franz again.
Okay.
So in the middle column, his character profile info should be at the top. If you've got him selected.
Yep.
Okay, click on the name.
You had a triumph.
I did.
What would you like your triumph to be? Given that you didn't notice a thing, but you know, you've got something maybe powerful. You got something powerful brewing. I have a suggestion or an idea.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps Doggo Danny does not notice, does not see, but you smell something very. It's very foreign to you. It's like you like the most incredible steak or but it's also like like your favorite flowers. It's like this combination of overwhelming scents, and it's sort of back down the alley in that general direction.
Where this creature is.
Yeah, where there's definitely a placeholder figure.
Gotcha. Danu in that moment, like for definitely the scent thing would be the better one to go with. Danu in that moment would break away mid-eating, nose immediately in the air, kind of like eyes back or ears back, and then just starts sniffing a whole bunch, and then kind of does that like haunched kind of stance, not hackles up, but like haunched, and gets around the other side to Ferryn. To kind of be in between. Just nose pointing in that direction towards the alley.
Tila kind of looks that way. She goes, "What, Danny? What do you?" She kind of looks slightly concerned because she doesn't see anything, and she like looks for a second and then kind of turns back to Franz like, probably nothing. She's like, look, I can get you the Cronenberg stuff. It's not the kind of thing that I keep out, and it'll take a little bit of time to source, but Uh,
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't difficult.
she nods. She's like, well, I gotta go. We gotta go get my. She's like, I have to visit a little storehouse to get some of those relief supplies for the Kulane. So if you want to tag along, uh, I can uh, figure out a price for you. She kind of looks at you like she's not sure exactly how much she's going to charge you, but you already know that it's going to be not market because
Well
it's going.
outside my price range.
Yeah, she's going to you can tell she intends to overcharge you.
Yeah. But I'm gonna try and be, the cordial, respected academic, and I'm
Okay.
happy to come along and provide any assistance that I can, and perhaps indulge in your wares and expand both of our knowledge.
Okay. Danny, when you get over to about this area where I'm drawing a square, that's basically you don't see a figure. Like there's figure's not there anymore.
Okay.
But like it seems like there's just a concentrated sort of almost like a bubble of whatever it was you were sort of picking up on. Um, it lasts about um, 10, 15 feet in any direction. Um, no one else seems to notice. You've actually seen a couple people like walk through talking. They don't seem to notice. Like they don't seem to slow down or stop or be affected in any way. They just
Hmm.
you just see people kind of carrying on about their business.
Should definitely take a little extra time to like investigate using her sense of smell and sight.
Okay. Um, what is Ferryn and Franz doing?
I think Farron's mostly going to be still focused on this conversation with Tila, especially if it looks like she's gonna go somewhere. He's like gonna make sure that he's like nearby to follow her. But he's got one eye also on Danu, but I think he's gonna stick close to Tila. It's like I need to make sure I don't lose this person in the crowd or whatever. Like this is my contact. I don't know how to find them again. Um, so I think
Franz is glued to Tila. Everything else is an afterthought.
Yeah. For context, it's kind of early afternoon, so it's probably about I don't know 1:30, 2 o'clock. So kind of like late lunch. So there's still pretty good light. Um, there are street lamps and things around town that magically illuminate. They kind of bathe everything in kind of a soft glow to make sure that even at night it never gets ultra dark. But anyway, it's still daytime. Um, she kind of looks. She started walking, sort of off this way, and then she kind of notices that Danny's kind of still over there. And she's like, should I wait? Uh, or she goes, Danny, do you know my my place?
Kind of Danu's just
Over.
gonna like turn the head, kind of like look over the shoulder a little bit, and kind of one ear up, one ear down.
Okay.
Farron's gonna just like kind of wave at Danu and be like, "Come on." Like a dog. Like Farron literally forgets that Dan is not a full ass grown human being. He's like, come
I can I? Is there something I can roll to do like a slight bit more investigation, like just in the brief couple of moments?
um. This would be a
I guess perception.
this would be more of a um religion and arcane. or a Arcana potentially.
Is Arcane and Arcana different?
Arcane is a knowledge skill. Arcana is the magic. Religion and
Ah.
Arcane is a knowledge skill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Is that knowledge culture then?
Um,
Because we had a reduced version of it.
Culture is I think tradition and is
Tradition and history.
yeah.
Okay, because
But
yeah, on the reduced sheet that you had that I'd copied over, it was knowledge science, knowledge culture, legends and lore, tradition and history.
okay. Yeah, legends and lore, natural world, religion and arcane, and tradition and history. So,
Oh,
you
I'll
could.
have to change those then.
Sorry, this is the problem with me, like switching tools to try to make things streamlined.
Good.
But yes,
So
you could.
probably still be the same as everything else, which is 2, except for unless it's a cunning. What's the stat for it?
They are all intelligence based.
Oh, you had swapped some of them over in your previous sheet to be like presence, cunning, and things like that. Okay, so intellect.
I put the full knowledge list from the Genesys creator. It's substantial. It's in the session 0 notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a JSON file that, and as well as an example sheet, and the
Yeah.
example sheet had less. It was severely like cut down.
Like I mean, granted, we're in fantasy, so not all of this is applicable, but
Yeah.
a lot of it still is.
I'll just do Arcana.
Yeah, this will be for this is you're a who is your like who do you worship, Danny?
That is Sonya, but in Danu's people's culture, it's Shirvan.
Okay. Get yourself an upgrade on this.
Yes, which I know how to do with because I've used this system many times. I have not.
Yeah.
That's
how
why
do
It's
it's
like
the
the
0.5.
it's like the half green, half yellow dice, I think.
Oh, okay. So just one. So I add that to my greens, or just remove one of my greens and add it to an upgrade?
I think if you do that, it turns one of your greens into a yellow question mark.
Nah, just added it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh
fine.
wow, there's literally an upgrade dice. That's cool.
Hold on. Let's.
That's cool.
Oh, I see. Okay, so gotcha. Okay, let me just roll one more green then. So, 2 successes and an advantage.
Okay. And
Interesting system.
dice roll.
What was the difficulty?
Should be 3 purple.
Oh, okay. I did not roll those. So why don't I
Soak
just
GM never gives you straight rolls.
hold on? Let me. You said difficulty 3.
Yep.
All right. Let's
It is hard.
scrap and reroll.
You can flip a point to upgrade it if you would like.
There we go. So I just decided to screw it reroll, which is funny because it rerolled the same things for mine anyways. 2 successes, 2 threats.
Okay. So you're gonna take a couple strain. Take 2 strain. Sort of. You stretch yourself, sort of combining all of these sensory things with what you have sort of learned in your life. What you found here is the mark of a divine. You don't know who, you don't know what, but this is the sort of thing that you would associate with a holy site. Your people may have one where you would have seen where Sanya may have appeared and blessed your people at some point in you know uh, previous
So
lifetimes.
it would smell more like bonfire than for her.
Yeah, it yeah, as you sort of start connecting the dots, you smell more bonfirey. But the sort of like the idea of this divine thing is it's is it's whatever sort of would be attractive to you at that particular moment.
Oh,
It's designed to
so
sort
yeah.
of draw you in. So if you like a particular kind of meat, it's going to smell like the best, juiciest, most tender version of that meat you've ever smelled. If you like flowers, it's going to be the freshest, most fragrant version of that flower. Whatever it is that draws you in, that's sort of the thing you sort of notice. And then as you sort of inspect it, you do get a little bit of a smoky vibe to it.
Yeah, it would it would definitely smell a lot like uh hold on a sec. Someone's being a little shit. um
I'm sorry, was that distracting?
yes it was. Such a brat. Um so
Did you hear any of that description?
I did, yes. Took about every ounce of my brain power.
That's where the two
Um
screen came from. There it is.
there's the two strain. So yeah, it would probably smell like a mixture of like a cooking fire or like a bonfire, like because Danu's people do a lot of ritualistic bonfires where they'll put certain gifts and things into the fire because to the Kulain people, um, the name they have for Sonya, Sirvan, is specifically like the first fire.
Cool.
So she's the fire of creation, passion, change, all those things. Same as the usual description, just under a different name and a different form. And yeah, so it would smell like a cooking bonfire along with like fantastic venison and like all these different things and like fantastic like rose hip almost or something. So she'd just kind of like realize and then would kind of just like do a little bow of her head, closing her eyes in like thank you, and then would kind of turn and trot back towards the group.
Couldn't you tagging back along?
Oh, where'd Silk go?
I'm still here. I'm just quiet.
Oh, okay.
So, Tila kind of notices Danny coming back. She's like, everything good? We heading off?
And she'd just kind of look and then just do a little head nod.
All right. So, off you guys set to a vaguely this is me. This is the sounds of the GM stalling while I try to remember where the hell I stuck the uh like map that I'm thinking of. It is not here. Fred. Okay. Well, change of plans.
Canals.
Yep. So let me do a little thing arena. Because I gotta jigger, as it were. And the part of Tila, so I don't have to remember what folder it's in, will be played by this random mage. Okay. So, y'all have made your way south a little bit through town. You're sort of down more towards the docks, where there's a lot more activity. There's still cargo getting loaded and unloaded. There's various little warehouses. There's shops and stalls, but it's mostly think like stores. And then you can see some people and moving things to go towards the various markets or shops throughout the city. This is more sort of like storage or overstock type places. And Tila kind of stops in front of a building that doesn't seem to have doesn't seem to have a door, which is kind of weird. But she does, in fact, do a little magic thing, and a door appears on a wall right in the middle of what would look like a king of staves, but it's actually the Duke of Staves. It turns into a door, and inside is a little modest warehouse, and she kind of steps inside and says, you know what, wait here and don't get into trouble. And she glowers at Franz. She's like, especially you. She's like, I'm not worried about the other two. She's like, but if you get me kicked out of here. She pulls a small piece of metal from her waist.
Do I recognize it?
Make a your choice of warfare or melee, whichever. It's going to be a
probably warfare. Holy shit, man!
It's against 2 red and purple.
Where is warfare?
It's a combat skills. Warfare and tactics is a cunning skill under combat.
And it's against what?
2 red and a purple.
3 purple. Yeah. What did that come up with?
No success and an advantage. You don't really recognize it. It looks like it looks like the hilt of a sword, but there's no blade.
The thing I'm more interested in, and I'll roll for this. Do I recognize what she used to make the door or make the door appear? Do I understand that magic? Is that in my realm of understanding?
Yes.
Like, am I even on that level, or is this like, oh, she's using shit beyond me? Because I'm trying to gauge myself, to be quite frank.
I would have to double check what she is doing mechanically. This is one of those.
That's fine.
This is one of those narrator things. You would recognize that what she took off her waist as a lightsaber hilt, but Franz has no idea.
Got it.
So she puts it in, and she says, "Give me 5 minutes. I'll be right back." And she steps inside, and then the wall sort of reappears.
A stool nearby.
There is, but also, everyone make me a 2 purple vigilance, and Danny,
Yeah.
you may upgrade and add a boost.
Ooh. And that was with difficulty what, 2?
Yep, 2 purple.
Ooh. 0 successes, 1 threat, 1 triumph. That's nice.
Oh, that's quite the spread.
Yeah.
One failure.
I got no success, 1 threat.
Okay. So, you all get the feeling you're being watched. You can't tell how. Danny, the hairs on the like your hackles are up. You don't feel threatened necessarily, but you're like, I don't like that someone's able to watch me and I can't see them. You're
Almost
sort
like
of
the
like,
feeling of being observed before hunting.
yeah, you're very like you feel like you. It's not necessarily like a hostile, like you are prey, but it's uncomfortable. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, y'all don't see anybody. There are people sort of scattered around. I just didn't drop them all over the maps. You've got a few minutes to kill. What's everyone thinking about doing?
Danu would definitely remain kind of vigilant and trying to find like what direction, trying to suss out what direction the feeling of being watched is coming from.
You actually feel like
Sorry.
you
go.
feel you would sort of feel like it's coming from this area, sort of like you're not sure why you think it's kind of that way, like where there's not that boat is not there. There's just like a gap, but you feel like, huh,
Well,
something about that area is suspicious.
Danu would definitely move up to make sure that she's between whatever the potential threat is and Ferryn.
Okay, Baron, what you doing?
Not really sure. I think Ferryn would definitely notice how on edge Danu is. Um, but I don't like he doesn't have a lot of like combat or skills or anything. He's never like dealt with the dark side of he's never done any black market shady kind of stuff. Like they're a good lad. They come from a good house. So I think he's a little caught out of his wheelhouse here, and he's just gonna kind of stick close to Dano, maybe even come over and talk to him and be like, "What's going on? Like, what's got you on edge?"
She's just gonna look up, blink a few times, and then look, and kind of like in the direction of where she
Um,
has her feelings towards, in kind of like a getting like
hmm.
closer to you, but like in a like, hey, like don't move any closer kind of thing.
Um, can I try to look where she's looking and see if I notice anything out of the ordinary?
Um, sure. Uh, give me a let's go 2 purple perception, and you can have a boost because uh, Danu is pointing it out to you.
Okay. 3 successes. Good at
Um,
perception, not so good at the vigilance part.
yeah. So, with your attention sort of being turned over there, you kind of see something that looks a little bit like think like heat coming off of a blacktop road, like it's kind of shimmering.
Mhm.
There's a spot that's about the size of like that circle that's sort of shimmering. You don't see anyone there, but there's something that's sort of you kind of want to like you feel a little bit like a moth towards a flame, like you kind of want to see what's going on, like you don't really know why, but you can kind of feel yourself being called, like you're
Mm.
just like, oh, hey, or like you kind of get a little voice in your head that's sort of like, you want to get closer, and you're not sure if that's your own thought or if that's someone else.
Interesting. I think that would definitely worry Ferryn with noticing like how Danu has like put her body like in front of his to kind of block him from like walking any further, and the combination of like feeling really drawn to the thing. He's like, oh, that's probably not a good. That's probably not good for me. Um, so I think what Ferryn would do is if Tila still standing outside with us?
No, she disappeared inside.
I think Farron would turn to Franz and be like, Mr. Wizard, uh, do you know anything about this shimmer going on? Do you know what this is? It seems really cool, but Danu doesn't seem to like it.
Shimmer? I, I don't know if we'd be messing with a shimmer. I mean, we were given specific instructions to stay right here and not touch anything. Specifically me.
But it does look like I do want to touch it though.
My experience with small furry things is it's best not to touch it.
I mean, that's
I don't
better
know if
than
that
what some of
translates
the.
for you, but that's generally been my
Um,
academic experience.
Franz,
Yes.
uh, the way this is being described to you, roll me a 3 purple religion or legends and lore,
Legends and lore. That I'm gonna roll good on that. Hang on.
and you get a
Got that.
boost because you have it pointed out to you. You
That's the
can in
wrong
fact
thing.
see you now that now that Farron has pointed out the
So
that
boost
shimmering,
is a blue.
everyone can sort of everyone can sort of see that there's something with the air there.
I think at this juncture,
What's my
Danu.
oppose?
3 purple.
No, 3 purple. Thank you. Three success, 4 threat. Wow, boy, I rolled heavy on the threat. Goodness gracious.
Okay. So you're going to get so you're going to know some things. I'm going to tell you some things that are true and some things that are false, and uh you won't entirely know which is which. Okay. So you spent a lot of time reading books and being in the library and not getting laid and partying because, again, big old nerd. But you do remember there is tales of more about the Shadow Weaver. He's not visible unless he chooses to be. Um, but one of the signs that he is present has been reported as a shimmering or a flickering. Um, Additionally, you also know that, uh, given the time of year, This is when the gods tend to be the most active in terms of in lore and their religion, when they tend to be the most, when they tend to appear or meddle in things. It's meddling time. Uh, it's like Morbin time, only more meddling. And um, you know that it is definitely a kind of thing that um, in and of itself is harmless.
Okay, and the name of that quote unquote god was what again?
Morvath the Shadow Weaver?
Oh, got it. My guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, writing. Okay. Pretty much based on that knowledge, I kind of look at what we're looking at. It's like, this may be what I recall reading about in Cthulhu Waifu number 69. Sometimes Morvath can appear in a shimmering sort of a being or presence to mortals, and this is often a presence that is shown to mortals. Typically, by some academic standards, it is attributed to tentacle stimulation, but others see it as more of a what was the actual thing you said? Sorry, I lost myself.
I love that all of his like actual real world lore is confused with all of his like smut fantasy writing obsession stuff, and he like gets those threads
Yeah.
tangled sometimes.
In and of itself, you know that the shimmer is not dangerous.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, you had said something else, and it was like my brain was like, okay, this is what he's actually going to try and attribute to, but that's not what it really is. But he's going to be like, but some other academics say this. It's like that's what it really is.
The real information.
Like that.
Okay.
That is if you haven't gotten, it's like this is the academic I am building.
Well, I don't like the sound of the words tentacles and stimulation together in the same sentence, so I think I'm gonna hang back if it's all the same. I really wish she wasn't making us wait out here in the creepy shimmering tentacle canal. This is not the nicest part of town I've seen so far.
Well, if it is a Morvoth presence, I I will gladly volunteer to go and inspect it. I think that is definitely necessary for a devotee of my nature.
Ferryn's just gonna squint as the cogs kind of like click together in their little like sheltered boy brain of like, huh, okay.
Okay.
Franz doesn't hesitate, is walking towards the shimmer.
Okay.
Didn't even register that there was a moment of like, the fuck?
And just walks right past them.
Yeah. So as soon as you walk inside sort of the range of the shimmer, um, you feel like there's a rock in your shoe. Like pretty good size rock, like maybe the size of like the top knuckle of your thumb.
I check my thumbs.
Your thumbs are intact.
Okay, then I check my shoe.
Okay. Inside your
He's not the best academic.
inside your left shoe, there is a stone.
Okay.
About the size. You can see it sitting there. It looks like just kind of a random stone.
I have a couple of test tubes on me. Is this something I could fit in a test tube?
No.
Okay, then I put it in a pocket.
Are you putting it into a pocket?
Do I have pockets I can put it into?
I just mean, are you touching it with your hands? Are you
I
telekinesis?
assumed it's in my hand if I took it out of my shoe.
Okay. So when you take it out of your shoe, uh, uh, Danu, Ferryn, you see, um, you see, Franz kind of look like he's sort of lost in thought for a second. Looks kind of look like he kind of like awkwardly pauses. Um, Franz, you find yourself in an underground sort of temple. It's slightly overgrown, but think like beautiful, uh, like granite, very light colors. There's light peeking through. It's perfectly serene. You don't even have to roll to know that this is sort of described in all of the religious literature that you've seen as sort of the realm of the divine. Ahead of you, you see a man that looks a little bit like, well, let me see. I think I have a better picture.
But we just see him like
Zone.
Yeah,
standing there, looking like just kind of zoned out, looking at a rock in his hand.
Meanwhile, I'm having a connection with the man that, proliferized shop smart, shop S-smart.
Yeah, more or less. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
I had
find
to go obscure. I'm sorry.
Hail to the King, baby. Um,
Couldn't go simple with, this is my boomstick.
yeah, okay. So you basically see this figure. You can't really look at the face. If you try, you basically just are going to take strain. You are going to take strain until you look away.
Oh no, I'm learned enough in the ancient texts of no. I'm not gonna try and look him in the eye.
He goes, finally, Jesus. He's like Sanya sent for the dog, but no going. Look, time's short, so I'll be quick. Someone's coming to kill Alar. To kill Alar, they're gonna kill me. Whole world's in peril. Usual kind of bullshit. So, gonna need you to stop that.
How do you spell Alar?
Aelar.
Good enough.
Alar is the deity that is that Biddy's character is like of the order of.
Oh, someone we would know of. Cool, even better.
Yeah, one of the there's sort of four major deities: Alar, Sanya, Morvath, and I'm drawing a blank on the fourth one because I'm a bad GM.
Hey, we're all learning this. All good.
Seraphina. But anyway, he goes, if you could just, he's like Tila's, Tila is, he's like, she's one of my agents, so be nice to her. And it's like help Alar not get herself killed, or well, not. He kind of like pauses. He's like, you know what? I don't even know anymore. Doesn't matter. He's like Alar can't die, and he's like you, Mallard. He's like you, the diplomat, the healer, the traitor, and the dog are gonna have to save the day. Because let's be honest, what kind of peril would it be if I got to pick actually good warriors? He kind of smirks.
Which one's the traitor?
He said traitor like referencing a merchant.
Merchant trader.
Oh, okay. Thankfully, okay. Sorry. I was like, like to key in on which one's gonna betray us. Let's talk about that trader. Trader, much better, much better. We're good. We're good.
He hands you a simple. He holds out basically like a simple leather strap. It's kind of like um, kind of a darkish brown. Looks a little dirty, a little worn.
Okay.
And he's, hey, give this to your dog friend.
Like as a collar?
He
Or as a chew toy?
he's like, look, it's not from me. It's from Sirvan, and I hope I said that right, Trish.
You did.
Okay. And with that, he's just kind of waiting for you to take it.
I take it in my hand and place
As-
it in my jacket pocket.
As soon as you do that, he touches you on the forehead, and you are snapped back
Okay.
into your body.
Do I still have the stone from my shoe? Or is
Stone's
that
gone.
Now gone. That's gone. Okay. That's all.
And you still have the leather strap in the pocket. So you feel like you're pretty discombobulated. You kind of feel like you've been gone for, I don't know, at least an hour or two. You're like all discombobulated. It turns out going to the realm of the divine and back to the regular realm, very disorienting.
Wow. So this is what it feels like to be penetrated by Morvath. I am so honored.
But meanwhile, Danu, Ferryn, you guys just see him kind of like sort of like stagger and be like, what? And like look a little disoriented, but he looks like he just kind of stood there for a second, staggered, and then he turned around
and started talking about being penetrated.
Yeah, he could have done.
Ferryn's gonna nervously tug on an ear and be like, "You okay? Do you need help? What's going on?"
And just to make this extra awkward after what you just heard, he now pulls a leather strap out of his jacket pocket.
Ferryn is too sheltered to understand that reference.
To the wolf.
When it comes out of his pocket, Danu, you see it sort of shift in his hand to sort of have some symbols of your people. What sort of symbols is it are sort of appearing in the leather?
Oh, it would definitely be. It would almost look like a type of cuneiform.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but do you mean like actual like symbols, or like writing symbols?
It could be anything. So it's just transforming in such a way that you are watching this, like as he's sort of holding it up, you notice it immediately. It is transforming, and with symbols and images that you associate with Sirvan.
Oh, so that would definitely be some cuneiform with the symbol of the first fire. So she would just immediately like wide-eyed as a wolf and then shift pretty quickly into being like human-sized Danu. And then just walk over and be like, "Where did you get that?"
The divine bequeathed me with this, and clearly I was meant to give you this and enable our future travels. We have a great mission ahead of us.
No kidding. She's gonna kind of reach her hand out to be like, "Do you mind?"
Oh yeah, I offer it. Yeah, it's like I clearly understand. It's like you.
Cool. And she's gonna take it in her hands and then just kind of look over it and kind of hold it with a certain amount of like reverence.
But
Okay.
just also understand, it's like when he hands it off, it's like this is the handoff from a person who's never successfully executed a handshake. Ever.
Not even one time.
No, never happened. Not
Yeah.
once.
She's just she's gonna take it in hand and just look and be like, "Thank you, Franz." Was it?
Yes. This was truly an incredible experience. I've never been that connected and and fulfilled by Marvath's presence before. That was intense. Also, like camping.
I don't know this.
I'm gonna cut
Marvath.
myself off now.
I don't know this Marvath that you speak of, but this is Shirvan. This is the first fire. This is she who creates. The first mother.
This is truly incredible. If that is Sirvan, then the four great powers are working together to try and defend Aer. Sorry, a layer. I'm not
Alar.
pronouncing this correct. Alar, thank you. To defend Alar. Morvath spoke to me that there is a power coming to kill Alar, and we apparently must come together and protect her to stop this horror.
Yeah. Point of correction. This was my mistake.
Sure, yeah,
Alar is non-gendered, so it's Alar is just a they them.
Cool.
That was my mistake because I was looking at the wrong thing. So my bad. But yeah, Alar is basically just a think like very Tilda Swinton kind of ambiguous, like transcending like the idea of gender.
Like it. Love it.
Yep.
All of this is going over Ferryn's head because they have no head for religion and anything as woo woo of all of that. So they're just kind of looking back and forth as Danu and and Franz are engrossed in this conversation. He's still worried about the tentacles.
As you should be. Should always be wary of the tentacles. You never know when that shit's coming out of the shadows. I've read the forbidden texts. All 69 of them.
Is that a thing that happens a lot? Do they just come out of like alleyways and shadows and stuff?
In 17 of the texts, yes. Exactly. That's exactly what happens.
Shudders.
I don't know.
So wait, is something bad happening? I don't understand.
I'm still now trying to process the vision that I just had. Speaking to
When the tentacles were inside you, you had a vision?
No, Morvath was inside of me. Morvath was penetrating me and filling me with his essence and his message.
He was doing nothing of the sort.
No.
This is Franz's version of
this is
story.
Franz's interpretation because like he's a weirdo motherfucker. But no, sorry, I'm trying to ham this up.
Yeah, this is very Principal Skinner and Miss Krabappel were in the closet making babies, and baby came out and baby looked at me. Very, very like not even close to anything that could happen.
Yeah, but it's like, all right, how often do religious folks just wildly misinterpret X? It's like, all right, it's like he takes the message, but he interprets it in a very, kind of weird fashion in this one particular avenue. I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, it's like Morvath was inside of me in order to, But
Is
it's like, but he communicates it
is
wrong,
Franz
entirely wrong because he is Franz and he is awkward as fuck.
Franz seems like a slightly less you know creepy version and so far less con artisty Joseph Smith.
Oh yeah, let's. If we get too Joseph Smithy,
Ooh,
Ferryn's out.
that's a good bit of inspiration. I can use that.
No,
I can use
no.
that.
There will be no there will be no
not.
there will be no child marriage or anything of the sort in this.
I wasn't gonna go that angle. No.
Look,
I mean, that
if
is
you're
kind
going
of
to
the whole
if you're going
angle.
Joseph Smith, I assume that's where you're going with this, and I'm gonna straight up say no. Get out.
Not where I was going. Not where I was going at all.
Oh, you're going with the garden variety con man and trickster. Oh, okay. Like that part is fine. You can just
That
you can just be a con
part's
artist.
So Danu is gonna ask, you keep mentioning Morvath. Who is Morvath? What does Morvath do?
1 second. Gonna pull up that.
Pull up ye
No,
old
wiki.
notes.
Where the hell did that go?
This is one where I'm happy to help fill this in because I know this.
Here we go. Morvath is an enigmatic, wise, introspective. They are associated with secrets, magic, and the mysteries of the universe. Morvath is often depicted as both benevolent and ominous deity.
I know who Morvath is, but I was wondering in character how you would describe
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So,
apologies. I thought that was a legit question.
No, I would think maybe this would be described as like a
boy.
the followers of the followers of Morvath that you may have encountered would be more like would maybe be like goth kids. Like they're a little edgy, they're a little dark, a little nighty,
and
like creepy.
And Franz, very closet goth kid. It's just like Morvath. Oh, he is so cloaked in darkness. His piercing eyes penetrate your soul and fill you with his magic, his depth of his secrets, his girth of his knowledge.
So you're kind of a fanboy, huh?
What's a fanboy?
It would take too long to explain.
So Danu definitely would have never run into any Morvaths because this is basically like her second excursion out into the world ever.
Yeah. So you may not have recognized the people. So they're like in town.
There just feels like blind leading the blind. We're all noobs.
Yeah, it's fun though. So
oh, it's great. I love it.
Hold up. While she wouldn't know who the hell Morvath is by that name, like a lot of things, the deities would have different names in her culture because her and her people have been so separated for so long. And she'd kind of look at the squint and think about the description and be like, "Oh, Koru, Weaver of the Secrets, Keeper of Whispers."
Yes, Keeper of Whispers. He goes by many names.
We
also Penetrator of Darkness.
Anyway, so let me. I am coming up on a stop, so I want to try to progress us to
a. Yeah, for sure.
I was doing so good at derailing us. Go
yeah,
ahead, go ahead.
This is where I'm.
Every D&D party member ever.
Yeah. So, Danny, now that you're holding this piece of this sort of leather band, you feel like you can kind of hear another voice in your head. You just hear this whisper. You've never heard it before, but somehow it's the most familiar thing to you. And it just says, "Return to your people. I have blessed you." And you feel like it's hard to describe. Like you're transforming in some way. Essentially, you've been gifted a relic related to, um, Sanya.
Yeah.
With it, you have a ability to once a day teleport yourself to a location that you have been before.
Once a day.
Yep.
Wow.
Ooh.
Dang.
Um,
Dang. Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
uh,
Cool. Cool.
and just as sort of the reminder, teleporting people is extremely illegal and tends to result in insanity. Think like, going through Event Horizon stuff where like you're not like
Warhammer 40k going through the warp.
Warp.
yep,
The
exactly.
warp.
Oh no.
Except except in this case, Trish, you will be divinely protected for that one journey. And you feel like you are going to need to return home right away.
Wow.
It's almost like the GM is planning on you being out of commission for a single session.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, you have a schedule conflict?
I do, sadly.
Oh,
It was
okay,
fine
okay.
last week, but this week not
Yeah.
so much.
That was my fault. So this is just me setting that part in motion.
Gotcha. Okay. So in that
Still,
case,
that's an
then-
awesome power. Like,
That's pretty
regardless.
good.
And
So yeah, then in that case, then Danu would kind of just like wide-eyed and like nod and be like, "I understand," and then put the leather bit in her like pocket, or if there's a way to like tie it to her arm or something.
Yeah. When you sort of think about carrying it with you, you notice that it like sort of expands to just perfectly fit on your left wrist.
Perfect.
And then as soon as you sort of slip it on, it sort of tightens back down, so it's not going to be in the way, it's not going to be impeding anything, it's not going to dangle loosely, but it's just going to be there,
Cool.
just as you need it.
Cool. Question: is this like we've concluded the 0.5 session and she can just be like, "I need to go, bye," or is there a little bit more left to go?
So I was going to do a little wrap up thing here.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah.
So as this is going on, Tila comes back out of the building. She goes, "Okay, arrangements are all set. Relief supplies will be heading north towards your people, Danny." She kind of looks at you, and you kind of get the
does
feeling
Margie get the bracelet?
you kind of get the feeling that she knows something that she's not going to say. And she sort of like she sort of gives you like sort of like the hand on the shoulder of it was good seeing you. Like she knows she can sort of tell that you're getting called away. And she's like as for she's like Ferryn, Franz, we gotta meet up with the other half of our crew. They're similarly reluctant heroes that are tied into this. So let's get to walking.
She's.
And
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
and she sort of you can sort of tell.
Something's wrong.
Yeah, and now that you sort of have now that you have a blessing, Siravan, you can tell she's not like a priest or a cleric of Sanya, but she has some kind of blessing that sort of gives her more connection than you would expect from a random contact.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And you've never noticed this before. She's always just been someone, like, when you had met her before, she was just someone that, like, helped you find a thing that you were looking for.
Yeah. In
Um,
that case, then yeah, Danu would just kind of like look for a second, nod, and then she's like 6'3" or whatever, just like clasp two big hands on the shoulders of Tila and just be like nod and be like, "Thank you, my friend," and then just walk over to Ferryn and just be like, just do like the kneel kind of lean down and just be like, "I have to get going now. I have been called by my god, like by the great first flame. I must go back to my people."
Wait, really? But we just
Yes,
got here.
I know. The food is coming. The relief is coming. Winter will be able to become over. But I have to go back.
Are you gonna be okay?
I don't know. Something feels wrong. I'm not sure what.
Be careful, alright?
I will. And then just like ruffles the bunny ears and stuff.
Fur is akimbo.
I just thank you so much for your help. I will be back. Don't worry. And then just she's gonna kind of hold the little wristband and kind of just sit there and close her eyes and enact the teleport.
yeah, you don't really have to. The way it sort of works is you just kind of think about a the voice sort of guides you through this the first time. It sort of sounds like very pleasant singing, but it's like only at a whisper. Um, and you sort of get instructions to focus on the brightest light of where you want to be.
Perfect.
And as soon as that happens, you guys just see Danu just disappear. Like there's no poof, there's no pop, there's no sound. It's just gone.
Blink.
Like, yeah, blinked out of existence. Tila kind of steps back and goes, out of my pay grade, but I gotta get you guys off on. Well, I don't even know.
That's the way of the world. Sometimes you just got to get people off.
And so
He does not get what he just said. Like, it is clearly on his face, has no clue.
she throws a piece of wood that's nearby at your head.
He takes it directly, does not dodge. And
Yeah.
he's very used to this. Doesn't understand why still, but is very used to it.
And with that,
So if you guys are not aware what beast stars are, I'm going to be using the shit out of those gifts for you two for the rest of time.
Oh god, I didn't even think about that.
You set it up perfectly.
I didn't even think about that.
I watched the first season of that, and that didn't even occur to me.
Oh no,
We
no,
perfectly
no.
set it up.
I've already
Okay.
got 2 gifs in the meme thing. It's like I'm
That's
looking
enough.
for clips right now.
Okay,
No.
so let me wrap this up in a neat little bundle. So, Tila sort of um, leads you guys off towards an area where there's kind of some inns, some taverns near some temples. She's like I'll know when we're where we need to be, but I don't know what I'm looking for yet. And you can kind of tell she's sort of like, almost like this is designed to sync perfectly into the next thing. So that's where we'll wrap up.